We all know the story of the empty tomb. I mean, it's monumental, right? It's the absolute cornerstone of the Christian faith. But what if that power, the power that literally defeated death, wasn't just some historical event we talk about on Easter? What if it's a present-day reality, something meant to change how we live every single day?
Yeah, and that's the real question, isn't it? It's one thing to believe in a power big enough to conquer the grave, but it's a whole other thing to figure out how that same power helps you with, the small stuff. The frustrations of a traffic jam, the sheer monotony of folding laundry, or the pressure of a tough meeting at work. How do we take the glory of that empty tomb and actually carry it with us into our Monday mornings?
So, how do we do it? Well, it all starts with understanding one key thing. This isn't just a history lesson. It's more like a current we can plug into right here, right now. Look, the resurrection of Jesus is the ultimate rewrite. It's the moment that assures us death has been defeated and that a brand new kind of life is ours, right now. Because he walked out of that tomb, our stories get a new ending. All the sin, all the shame, all the failure, none of it gets the final word. And I love the wording here in Romans. It says, we too may live a new life. Did you catch that? That's present tense. It's not just a promise for someday way off in the future. It's an invitation to a completely transformed life right here on earth. The scope isn't just eternal, it's immediate.
And this just changes everything in how we operate. You see, the old way is all about being defined by our past mistakes, by constantly striving and trying to be good enough. But the resurrection way, it completely flips the script. We go from being defined by shame to being defined by freedom. We stop striving for a victory and start standing in a victory that's already been won for us.
So, if we're living in this new freedom, what does that actually change? Well, it starts on the inside. It's about completely rewriting our internal monologue, that script we live by every day.
This right here is a total game changer. Living in resurrection power means we can finally actively reject the lies that keep us chained to our past. You know that feeling of not good enough, that shame that crops up over an old mistake? Romans 8:1 declares there is now no condemnation. We can walk in the freedom Jesus bought, and we can break those chains for good.
And with that freedom comes a whole new identity. The world might label you by your job or your successes or your failures, but the resurrection, it gives you a new name, child of God, co-heir with Christ. Just think about that for a second. That means you share in his inheritance, in his authority. That completely shifts you away from a performance-based life where you're always trying to earn your worth to a life of inherent value. This becomes your anchor. It silences all those other voices and reminds you who you really are. Your past just doesn't have the power to define you anymore.
And this leads to a massive mind shift. We are not powerless people just trying to scrape by. The Bible is clear. The same Spirit, the same explosive power that brought Christ out of the tomb now lives in us. That means we get to operate from a position of victory. We're not fighting to win, we are learning how to live from a victory that has already been secured.
Okay, so this all sounds great, theologically speaking, but what about Monday? How do we take this amazing concept and bring it into our daily grind? Let's get really practical.
This power was never meant to be cooped up inside church walls or just talked about on Easter. It's designed to seep into the most mundane, most ordinary parts of our lives, the laundry, the commute, the difficult conversations, even the quiet moments. So, here's what it can look like. Step 1, you're stuck in that traffic jam. You're going to be late. Instead of letting frustration boil over, you remember your freedom. You're not condemned. This moment doesn't define you or your day. You can actually choose peace. Step 2, you're facing a mountain of laundry. You can choose to see it as an act of humble service, a small way to love your family, and let your life preach something beautiful without ever saying a word. And step 3, you're in a hard season. You lean into the promise of the resurrection, reminding yourself that God specializes in bringing life from the darkest places. And let's be real, life brings some really hard seasons. Grief is real. Setbacks are real. But resurrection power gives us this unshakable hope. It's the assurance that even in the darkest moments, nothing is wasted. It reminds us that every Good Friday in our lives is followed by a Resurrection Sunday. There is always hope for new life.
And when we actually live this way, when we forgive quickly, when we love boldly, when we serve humbly, and when we choose hope even when it's hard, our lives become a powerful testimony.
It's not about being perfect, not at all. It's about showing the world what a redeemed life looks like, a life that has been completely transformed by resurrection power.
So, as we start to wrap this up, what's the one thing you really need to carry with you? What's the ultimate takeaway from all this?
It's this: the empty tomb is not some dusty relic of the past. It's the engine for your Monday morning. It is the source of your courage, your hope, and your purpose. We were made to live in this power, to carry the glory of the resurrection with us every single day.
So the final question is for you. The empty tomb is the engine for your Monday. In that first moment of frustration tomorrow, or that mundane chore, or that difficult conversation, how will you choose to start it?